What's going on, guys? I've got here a 2003 Toyota RAV4, and I'm using this car to point out to you the location of the brake light fuse. I'm going to show you how to change your stoplight switch, and I'm also going to go over a problem that can make the brake lights be stuck on with the RAV4. So starting with the fuse, it's going to be behind this cover here. We just open it and then pull it away from the dash, set it aside. Now the brake light fuse carries constant power to your brake light switch. And it's all the way up here on the upper left-hand side. Little 10 amp fuse right here. I'll pull it out for you just so you can check it out. And that's what a good fuse looks like. You can see it's clean, unbroken. And the power coming to the brake light fuse is just constant. So that's that. Now let's take a look at the brake light switch. This is also where we can check for that common issue that will cause the brake lights to be stuck on. So here's our brake lever. You can push that. Tracing that upward, we're gonna find the brake light switch. So that's gonna be right there. And normally there's a return spring hooked up. Let me hook that up real quick for you. So here's how it should look with the brake light switch and the return spring and everything. We can get the return spring out of the way just to make it easier. And you can see on the other end it attaches to that little bracket there. Now you can see when I push on the brake pedal, the brake lever moves away from the switch. And you can see there's a plunger that comes out of the brake switch. This is how the brake lights come on. And you can see where the plunger hits on the brake lever, there's a rubber bushing. A lot of these will disintegrate over time. And if this rubber bushing disintegrates and falls away from the lever, your brake lights will be stuck on. So check to see if that rubber bushing is missing. If it is missing, you should be able to buy a new one at a parts store. I've also seen people glue pennies up there. You know, you can find a way to, figure something out. But this is a crucial piece right here. Now, as far as replacing the brake light switch, it's pretty simple. You're gonna need I believe it's a 14 millimeter bolt, or 14 millimeter wrench rather. And before we remove it, you want to disconnect it. So you can do that by pushing in on the tab here and separating it out. And you want to disconnect it first because you have to rotate this piece a lot. Now, the power comes in on a black-white wire from the fuse. And when the brake light switch is working, it connects these two pins together when you hit the brakes. So this is a good way to test the circuit. You can connect those two pins yourself to see if your brake lights come on. Now, as far as removing the switch, make a mental note of how much space there is between the switch and the little bracket. And then we loosen the little 14 millimeter right there. You don't have to loosen it a lot, just enough to where you can start to unscrew the entire switch. So the entire switch unscrews. Pretty simple, really. If your new switch does not come with a nut, you'll want to transfer this nut to the new switch. And installing the new switch, you just screw it on, and you'll have to do some adjustment. If you screw it on too much, your brake lights won't come on as quickly as they could be. Or it could even interfere with the brake pedal returning all the way to the fully neutral position. On the other hand, if you do not screw the switch in enough, then the brake lights could be always on. So you'll want to find that sweet spot where the brake lights come on the moment you apply the brakes. So yeah, I hope this information was helpful for you, or was at least a good starting point in troubleshooting the brake lights on your RAV4. I do have another video on this car about just replacing the rear bulbs, so definitely check that out if you need help replacing the bulbs. And thanks for watching.